It's all very well for Jesus to choose the way of the servant, the way of the palm rather than the sword. It's all very well for him to decide to be non-violent and to act in love always, even with people who didn't like him or made out that they were his enemies. The way of servanthood is hard. How is Jesus able to do it? You might say that he could do it because he was God, but in that case we have no hope. No, that's not how Jesus was able to do it. It's in our reading today. It says that during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe and tied a towel round himself. He knew who he was. He knew where he'd come from. He knew his destiny. He was totally secure in his identity. We can do that too. We can walk the path of servanthood because we know who we are. In Christ, we can do all things. It doesn't say in Christ we can do all things easily, or that all things are manageable for us or easy for us or simple, but we can do them. We can be people of peace, people of the palm. And that's what we're called to be, because we're called to be like him. A couple of other powerful things in tonight's reading. After he'd washed their feet and returned to the table, he said to them, imagine them all sitting there half stunned at what he'd just done, wondering what he's going to say. He says this, do you know what I have done to you? Not, do you know what I've done for you? They knew that. What I have done to you. What had he done? It's quite astonishing how powerful it is. He'd completely undermined this system of hierarchy and social class and who's better than and who's worse, who's in, who's out, because he, at the top of the tree, the Lord, the King, the Master and Teacher, you call me Teacher and Lord. He says, you're right, that's what I am. What he had done to them was to turn the system of power upside down. The most powerful becomes the least powerful, the servant of all. He says this explicitly in just those words in a couple of places in the other Gospels, but in John he acts it out. In acting out this parable, like all the actions of Jesus in John, becomes a kind of sacrament, a thing that we can do following Jesus that makes us like him and that reminds us of what our calling is, of who we are and who we are called to be. Sometimes the foot washing is called the missing sacrament in the church. That's because the church found it too subversive and put it away as an institution to be done only on Maundy Thursday. At one stage it was done only by the Pope and as a sort of symbolic thing. I noticed that Pope Francis last year overturned this by going out in not doing the foot washing inside the Vatican in golden robes and wearing a golden bowl, but out in the street. He washed poor people's feet. And I don't know whether the poor people were picked like they usually are, but he was much more like Jesus than the church has allowed this to be. This is a dangerous sacrament. That's why I love it. I regard it as very, very important. In fact, it's really the only sacrament that Jesus actually institutes in John, because he doesn't do baptism. He says that explicitly, and he doesn't even do the Eucharist, the communion, like he does in the other Gospels. It's acted out in a different way in John chapter 6 when he feeds the 5,000 and says, "This is eating my body and you have to drink my blood." I didn't understand that, and it passes by, but not this one. Just before he is to go out and be arrested and then crucified, he teaches his friends what it's really all about. When we do the foot washing on Maundy Thursday, it can be just a symbol for us. It is for a lot of people. It can also be very powerful. Think back to when it was first done for you, when a stranger washed your feet, or for that matter, someone who was precious to you washed your feet. I applaud the people who wash feet, the nurses and doctors and so on, who serve without asking for special reward or even special recognition. Some of them have been spat on, scorned, insulted, but they keep on doing it. I love the way the British people came out in the streets to applaud them all from their windows the other day. The fireys during the bushfires, the volunteers and the professional firefighters and the ordinary people got out and served, some of them at the cost of their own houses. That's what service is like. I wonder what will be the forms of service, the forms of foot washing for you this Easter, when we can't go out and do things quite so easily. You may be in a position to do something for others. A few weeks ago we put out this pamphlet, which is to be put in other people's letterboxes, saying that we could do things for them. I give it to you again. You can download it from the Facebook page or print it even from a still of this video. But what is your foot washing this Easter? What can you do for another? Maybe that phone call you've been putting off. Maybe post a card to someone who needs it. Maybe cleaning up outside someone's house who can't do it. Who knows? You do. God bless you.